Oh, that's Graham.
Yeah, we going live. We going live right now. Florida, Texas A&M. They still got a couple minutes left in the game, but the game's over, folks. It don't matter. There's 3 minutes left. Graham, a great first quarter by Billy Napier and his offense. Outside of that, I chalked up. So get this, Graham. They had 287 yards of offense right now. 157 of those yards came in the first quarter. 3 points after the first quarter. The 2 minute drill, you have 146 left in the half. You have the ball at your own 41. You run 2 run plays, kill a minute, and then you end up doing nothing. You have a 3rd and 8, and then you run, get around midfield. 4th and 6, yeah, let's go for it at midfield. Our defense is playing well. Defense once again plays great, and just another typical Billy Napier offense, man. It's so weird. We're sitting here, and A&M's probably going to win this game by 3 scores. Yet it's like you're sitting here thinking, man, Florida should have won this game if they had any offense whatsoever.
Dylan, this is a good thing. Because if they had figured out some way to figure out how to win this game, and, you win 2 games you're not supposed to, now it's getting weird again. You're like, oh, maybe you should be the guy, whatever. No. Got a last week against Texas in the Swamp. That's great. Everybody can feel good about themselves for a week. That's fine. But once again, Billy Napier showed you who he is, and his coaching staff showed you who they are. And I was thinking back, because I knew they were going to lose, so I was thinking back to what I wanted to say here. And I'm like, I think the USF game is where I keep going back to, because, look, this schedule is a gauntlet, right? Even for a good team. Like, they've played really, really good opponent after really good opponent after really good opponent, right? We know that. That said, I can't get away from that game because they knew what they were going into. They knew they had to go to LSU. They knew they had to go to Coral Gables. They knew they were going to play Texas, and they knew they had this game. And then even still after this, like, Georgia ain't too far away. Like, they still got good teams left. And you knew that if you didn't take that USF game and take, obviously, that Long Island game to start, I mean, if this got sideways early, which it obviously has, I mean, you could be looking at like a 3 or 4 win team by the end of the season, though.
So it's going to be a great Florida State game, Graham. It's going to be a combined 6 wins, maybe, possibly.
For real. But, like, it's just, I mean, I don't know how much more Scott Strickland, the boosters, whoever has a microcosm of influence in this decision, I don't know what more you need to see. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know why they want to keep wasting time, why they want to keep trotting him out there every week. I don't know. I don't understand. And I guess you can make the argument of like, oh, what good does it do to fire him now versus the end of the season? The good that it does is showing to your fans and showing to the world that you're not going to tolerate this and this isn't acceptable at the University of Florida. Because right now you're telling people that it is. And we've talked about this, Dylan, over and over and over again, right? And I say it every week till I'm blue in the face. This is not about Billy Napier anymore. This is about Scott Strickland. It has been for weeks. He has to look himself in the mirror, and he has to say, what type of football program do I want to be? I know you've heard me say that 1,000 times, but I'm going to keep saying it until something's done. Because, look, Dylan, this wouldn't be acceptable at no disrespect to these programs, but this wouldn't be acceptable at Missouri. This wouldn't be acceptable at Vanderbilt. This wouldn't be acceptable at Wake Forest, okay? Much less than acceptable at a university that has 3 national championships and 3 Heisman Trophy winners and 3 statues out front of their stadium. It's just, Dylan, this is the worst. This is the worst UF football coach in our life. The worst UF football coach in the lifetime of many people that are significantly older than we are. I don't know that their next hire is going to go be, the next Steve Spurrier. I'm not saying that. But if I had to guess, he's probably the worst head coach of the next, 5 hires. Because it's almost impossible to be bad. It is almost impossible to be this inept for 4 straight years at Florida. And if you are this inept, then you shouldn't make it this far. He should have made it past year 2, much less into year 4. This is ridiculous. They have to move on. They simply have to move on. This is no longer, oh, this is just a lost season. Just let it play out. Fire him at the end of the year. And then, no. You have to send a message. You have to send a message to your fan base that you give a shit about them. And I don't know if Scott Strickland's going to do that, but that's what I think.
He won't. I'll answer that for you. He won't. He'll coach till the end of the Florida State game. Book it.
I think so too. And that's part of why I'm saying this whole thing so passionately, because I think most ADs that have a spine would can him. I don't know that he would make it to Monday, and he would have been fired before this anyways. But I don't believe Scott Strickland's going to do that. I don't believe he's going to. And again, agree or disagree with me? Are you on the camp of it doesn't really matter, they're just going to fire him at the end of the season anyways? Or do you agree with me that they need to send some type of message to the fan base that this just hideousness we're watching will not be tolerated in Florida? Do you agree?
I don't know, man, because, dude, once again, I mean, they have a chance to win this game in the fourth quarter. I don't know much about Mississippi State. I would assume that they're probably going to be a home favorite next week. And then you have the month of November. And, I don't know if it's a for sure thing that Scott Strickland's going to let him go at the end of the year. And I've kind of felt that way all year. If you go 6-6 or 7-5, I don't know that Strickland pulls that trigger, man. But that's just me talking.
But do you think they're even going to do that?
I don't have confidence in it.
I don't either. Because I mean, look, they're not beating Georgia. They're going to lose by multiple scores to Georgia. I agree with you. They're probably going to beat Mississippi State. Although
Georgia ain't looking good right now either, dude.
What's up?
Georgia ain't looking good right now. I don't know if you watched any of that Auburn game. They had on their final drive in the first half, they started inside their own one, went all the way down to the 9-yard line, and they finished with 78 yards in the first half against Auburn.
You know they're going to beat Florida. You know they are. This team
I bet they were, but I don't know, man. I mean, this game, you know the reason why Florida didn't play well tonight. There was no Tony Livingston, Graham. Tony Livingston did not play in the game. He was not able to help Austin Barber chip the edge multiple times, who had an awful game. I mean, Austin Barber, he had a bad game.
That's putting it nicely.
Yeah.
I mean, Cassius Harris, is that his name? From Texas A&M, he was absolutely murdering Austin Barber. Murdering him. It was bad to watch. Bad. By the time they finally dedicated some tight end help, they put Hansen over there to help him. Hansen just blocked him, and Barber was just behind him just in case. I mean, it was literally like having a corner play press man and having safety help over the top. I mean, it was insane. And that was horrible. Oh my goodness. The decisions to run the ball on before half, and then on that 3rd and 6 and that 3rd and 8. And on that 3rd and 8, they ran it. They got 6 yards and then kicked the damn field goal. What the hell are you doing? And then the next time it's 3rd and 6, they run it, they get nothing, and they go for it on 4th. I mean, what are you doing? You don't have a play call throwing the ball. You think you can get it on 3rd down? I mean, what in the world are they? And this guy has no clue how to call plays. He has no clue when to call timeouts. No, look, Scott Strickland. It's not that he may be he is a terrorist. Come on. I mean,
dude, what's crazy was we come out of the game, and I'm expecting full-on defensive game. I'm expecting
me too.
We live in Jacksonville. It was a rainy day. Most fields were mud pits. So you expect low-scoring games. I kind of expected that to be like this game. I mean, it's gonna be a dog fight to get first team to 21 points. Damn, both teams had 14 points and halfway through the first quarter. You're all right, this is Florida had these guys running wide open on defense. You're that never happened. So Florida had Napier called a good script. We always make fun of him about what they do in practice. Well, hell, they practiced a pretty good script throughout the week.
Yeah.
Which was so weird. And then after that, it was like, all right, we got these guys now. We're gonna stop this run. We're gonna confuse them with a couple blitzes, and they're gonna go back to what they are.
This game offensively, and it's no surprise because they know each other. They're good buddies. Rub off on each other. This game offensively was a Jim McElwain special. They went down the field, just a gorgeous script. One of the best offensive drives you've ever seen. You're like, damn, we in for it today. Like, our QB's dialing, he's dealing. Let's get after this. And then even on another drive, they go down the field. Vernell Brown III makes a huge catch. They get in the end zone. We're going. Dallas Wilson makes a hell of a catch in the end zone. We're making moves. Let's go. And then turns out you actually have to call a full game, not just two drives.
Yes, football is a 60-minute football game for the one that does.
Turns out after those drives, you're going to get the ball back again, and you need more plays to call. And you got to do more things. I don't know if Billy Napier knew that. I don't know if DJ Lagway knew that. I don't know if Austin Barber certainly didn't know that. But, yeah, that's part of football is you actually have to keep scoring points as the game goes on, not just in the first quarter.
The biggest indictment to me was going back to the 2 minutes traumatized with the Georgia game. I know a lot of Gator fans probably didn't see the at least the end of the first half between Georgia and Auburn. So Florida gets the ball, their own 41. They got 2 timeouts. They run the ball. They can just kill the clock. Like, it's just whatever. They're just like, we're trying to get to the half. We're not trying to score. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Georgia has – let me just pull up because I want to be factually correct here. They did literally nothing on offense in the entire first half. Auburn had the ball the entire first quarter. Update, A&M kicked the field goal, 34-17. Who cares? Okay. Georgia leads this game. God, Auburn, they should have beat Georgia tonight. Georgia's going to end up winning. Okay, so Georgia, this is what they did in the first half, Graham. Georgia, 6 plays, 14 yards first quarter. That was the only drive they had in the first quarter. Then they went 3 and out. Not even 6 yards combined on those drives. They did absolutely nothing. Auburn has the ball inside the 1. They do a QB sneak. They call it a fumble, controversial. They end up calling after the review. They said Georgia gets the ball inside their own 1. They did nothing on offense the entire first half. They're down 10-0 on the road. Can't do anything. We all know how great Gunnar Stockton is and, the great play caller Mike Bobo is. You name these play callers in the nation. It's Lincoln Riley. It's give me a couple of names, Graham. Who are the couple of the other guys?
It's Chip Kelly.
It's Chip Kelly, who's now in the league. But yeah, Mike Bobo, right there at number 3.
Lane Kiffin.
Yes, thank God. That was the one. And Georgia goes sneak to get out of the end zone. Then they have a run 10 yards, like, okay. And then they find a drive, and they get all the way down inside the 10. They throw the ball a couple of times in the end zone. They don't get it. They end up kicking a field goal. And now they have life. And this is Georgia, who's got a quarterback who most of us believe isn't a good thrower of the football, and an offense that it's really not that good, and they could do that. But you got Florida with all these weapons on the outside. The offensive line wasn't playing good. Napier's the play caller. It's just, hey, man, let's just run the ball, man. We just take this to the crib, man. I mean, it's just like, it's the same things that we've said over and over and over and over again about no feel for the game, man. We saw this at Utah, 2-3 years ago, whenever they played out there, and we it's just over and over. And I'm just sitting here thinking, Graham, this will be the last thing I say. It's just like, I already know what's going to happen, but I'm not. Well, there's no point in getting upset. Just no point.
Yeah. I wanted to address some comments we saw. Brandon Williams from Twitter said, "Here's the thing: explain the coach carousel since Urban Meyer. We have dug ourselves this grave." I don't know the exact context you're saying it from, Brandon. So I don't want to call you out and say you're wrong necessarily. I just want to point out, because we've said this before, Dylan. Like, there's kind of a misconception. There's a major misconception, I would say, in like media circles and some of the fan base and what have you, basically acting like Florida is in the predicament they are and has had the struggles that they have because they fire coaches too quickly. I don't think Brandon is saying that necessarily, but I just wanted to bring it up again because it's still worthy to have the conversation. It's the biggest load of BS to ever say that Florida has fired these coaches too quickly, and that's why they're in this scenario. Florida is in this scenario because they have hired the wrong coaches time and time again. Okay, because look, here's the problem. And I don't think anybody, I think pretty much everybody will be like good riddance once they get rid of Billy Napier, because we pretty much all agree it's when, not if. But if you want to make the argument that Florida is in this issue or in this scenario because they fire coaches too quickly, that has to mean that you think that between Muschamp, McElwain, or Mullen, and now Napier, that has to mean that you think one of them, if given more time, was going to eventually take Florida to the promised land and be a serious contender. Dylan, at the end of the Will Muschamp era, Georgia Southern lost it all. Was he going to do that? Was he ever going to figure out offense? Was he ever going to get a good offensive coordinator? Was he ever going to get a quarterback? That answer is no. He was never going to do that. Jim McElwain, was he ever going to do anything? That answer is no. Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen was a very good coach on Saturdays. We all agree with that. But as Dan Mullen got more of his recruits into the program, the team got worse and worse and worse personnel-wise, and that wasn't going to change. It was 2 and 3 stars and ineligible 4 stars coming into the program, and not 4 and 5 quality star players, right? That is why Dan Mullen is not the coach anymore. Insert Billy Napier. Every single year, Billy Napier has tanked the, not just Florida as a program and being bad, he has tanked the idea of Florida. He has tanked what Florida is perceived as nationally. Okay, we all believe as Gator fans, we all believe that we are a program that is the right hire away from being a serious contender year after year, right? Dylan, you agree with this, correct?
Most fans would agree with that, yes.
Right, most Gator fans, okay? But if you are a fan of USC and you're out in California, you don't think about the Florida Gators all the time. You're probably like, man, that program's done nothing in forever. Like, I'm not worried about them. I don't think about them. You think Oregon thinks about Florida? Of course they don't. You think Ohio State cares what Florida's up to? Of course they don't. The SEC schools like play us on it, so it's a little bit different. We're a little bit more top of mind for them. But like nationally, Dylan, we don't matter right now, and we haven't in years. We don't matter to anybody. We've never made a college football playoff. We've never done anything, and we're sure it's not going to a Billy Napier. I believe we're the right hire away, but we got to go make the right hire. If we fire Napier and go get John Sumrall, no disrespect, it's going to be the same thing. I'm sorry, it just is. I'm uninterested in going and getting a G5 guy or seeing if Billy can figure this thing out. Like, no, that's not what a serious program does. And until we move and act and do things like a serious program, we're going to be looking at the same thing. It might look differently. We might go hire somebody and have a good year, and we'll be lying to ourselves and feeling great and whatever. But until we go make a serious-ass hire and take someone's coach that's winning games, it's going to continue to be like this. And why wouldn't it be? Dylan, you're always good about mentioning this. You're always kind of the person that talks about this because a lot of us can tend to forget. Like, bro, kids that are coming up that are high school recruits and in college now and looking at the portal and maybe going to come, and like the kids that are playing college football right now, the talent that you can bring into your program. Man, those boys didn't watch Tim Tebow. Those boys weren't watching Percy Harvin and Aaron Hernandez. And
they weren't even born yet.
No. Those kids weren't even born. Like, that's kind of mind blowing because I'm sure, like, the legacies that are there right now, like Miles Graham and VB3 and those guys, like, their dads obviously like grew them up in Florida and like have taught them what Florida once was, of course. Other than that, dude, like, Florida has not been a winning program as long as these dudes have been alive, bro. Like, they don't know Florida they don't think of Florida the same way they think of Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State. Like, we're not in that same breath. And that's the problem. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is because I think we kind of all agree at this point, like, breaking down the X's and O's and, like, what's going on schematically with Billy Napier and the actual game is kind of useless at this point. This is about Strickland, and this is about the boosters, and this is about people that have real influence in the program and where they believe this thing can be headed and what decisions they think are the ones to make to get this thing going in the correct direction. because that's what matters here. What matters is not if they fire Billy Napier, but when they fire Billy Napier and what moves they're going to make afterwards. Because I don't really know what those moves are going to be, and I don't have a whole lot of confidence it's going to be good moves.
I'll say this. When they finally make the arrangements for the playoff next year, because this is the last year for the 12 team, and probably move to 16 next year, and then you'll go automatic 4 bids for the SEC, the Big Ten, and then every other conference will have an automatic bid, G5, and then you'll have a couple at larges. I don't think Florida's not going to be a good job to be open, man, because like you're seeing now, it's going to get worse when they expand the playoff. If you are not for sure that your team is, speaking with the SEC and the Big Ten, if you're not for sure that your team is a top 4 automatic qualifier year in and year out, you're better off getting a job at Arizona State or and name any Iowa State, name any Big 12 school, name any ACC school, because you have a better chance of making the playoffs at those schools as compared to Florida. Because we know the next 5 years it's going to be, by and large, it's going to be, as long as Ole Miss is going to have Lane Kiffin, it's going to be Ole Miss. It'll probably be some mix of Georgia and Alabama and LSU. And there'll be a rotation of another top team. Throw in Texas, Oklahoma, if, Napier stays. I just named you 6 schools. And Florida, if they hire, some mediocre guy, they're not going to make the playoff. And everything moving forward in college football is going to be based on if you make the playoff or not. So from that case alone, Florida's not going to be a good job to be open, and you're better off going to a different program.
Yeah. So they should make some moves now. That's what I'm hearing, right? But it's like I agree with everything you just said. Make it a good job. Make it a good job. Look, I will say this. It's a backhanded compliment, but it's going to be a compliment. Scott Strickland, of one thing he has done recently is when they hired Billy Napier, and the football-only facility was pretty much all but done at that point when they brought Napier in. He was able to inherit that, and that's great to help recruit. I know that's not as big of a deal anymore now that you can pay the guys, and I own all that. I know that, but they did generally speaking, like, finally seem to commit to getting with the times of being as invested as you need to be resource-wise for a coach to go have success, as Billy Napier's been here, right? Part of that being that football facility, part of that being last year the amount of money they paid guys, most of the guys to stick around. Part of that being, the 700 people Billy Napier has hired to be on staff, none of which can count to 11 on special teams, all that, right? So if you keep that same line of thinking that the resources are there, the willingness to allocate the proper resources are there, and then you identify the coach you want, and you go make them a serious, like, big time offer, and you make some big time dudes say no. You make Lane Kiffin say no. You make Kurt Signetti say no. Dan Lanning, I don't think is even probably not worth picking up the phone, but
no.
But you get what I'm saying though. Like, yeah, I don't disagree with you that right now and moving forward, it may not be as good of a job as we've historically thought because of the changes in college football. Well, who can change that?
A coach. College football is all about a coach. There's never been a below average coach that's had sustained success for over periods of time. And there's a reason why Edwards Ron wins a national title and then they fall off.
Right.
You don't see that with very good coaches.
I want to address them because our boy Kenny is getting after it in the comments, so I'll address him a little bit, give him some love. Kenny says the most recent comment. I don't care who we get next, anybody but Billy. Respectfully disagree. I know we're frustrated right now, and if it were up to me, Billy Napier would be fired yesterday. So I don't say this to advocate for hanging on at all. I think they need to cut him loose now. But again, what I'm trying to really make a point here of is we're in this predicament because Florida has struck out on hiring coaches, the correct coaches, ever since Urban Meyer walked out the door. So you're saying, I know, and we're all saying, we're all feeling it. I get it, Kenny. But we're saying, I don't care who we get next, anybody but Billy. Okay, well, if we go hire the wrong dude, then we're going to be on the same exact podcast in 3 years, and we're going to be saying, I don't care who we get next, anybody but insert the name. You get what I'm saying? So, like, to me, Dylan, you and I agree with this. Nicholas says Lane ain't coming. I disagree. This is about what I was about to bring up. Dylan, you think Lane Kiffin would come. I think Lane Kiffin would come. And even if he wouldn't come, even if the chances of him saying yes are 1%, you gotta pick up the phone and make the call. Yes or no?
Yeah, 100%. I've said it over and over again. Lane Kiffin's the only guy I want, man. Like the only one.
I agree, and even if I believe he would, if seriously offered the job with like a legitimate offer and like they gave him a raise from Ole Miss and all the proper things, obviously, I don't believe he says no. But even if you think he says no, I think everybody can reasonably agree that you have to make that call. I cannot live with myself if I know that Florida is not going to even try to get the one dude that is the obvious choice for this job. The obvious choice. It is so obvious. It's right there. It's right there. K-Swiss says, get Cignetti on the phone now. If Lane Kiffin says no, that is my next call. I think you make Lane Kiffin tell you no, and then you make him tell you no twice, and then a third time. And then when it's 3 strikes and you're out, then you make Kurt Cignetti say no, and you see what happens there. And if he says no, then we got to start reevaluating things, and we kind of open up a different conversation. But I would love one of those 2 guys in my program. I want dudes that are winning at the Power 5 level today. I want to go take someone's coach. I don't want Tulane's coach. I don't want insert whatever G5 program's coach. I'm not interested in that.
What about Troy?
Dylan, we're talking in circles. I know that I've said this to you 100 times. You're probably like, Jesus Christ, like, stop saying the same thing. But I'm just saying it again because it's true, bro. Like, this is what has to happen. They got to go make a serious hire, man. They got to do it. And to me, the serious hire will be the second statement, and that won't be till the end of the year, obviously. The statement you can make right now that you need to make to your fan base is that this product that's being put on the field every Saturday is not acceptable at Florida. It is not, and we will not continue to put up with this BS. Because right now, with how disgusting it is every single week, I know they had this fairy tale win against Texas and everyone played great and whatever. That's fine. But 95% of the time, they put out just a completely pathetic, inexcusable product. And Scott Strickland needs to send a message to the fan base that he is not going to put up with this. But I do agree with you, Dylan. I don't believe he's going to do any of that, which really
no. I don't think he will. And oh damn, Auburn just dropped a pass. No, like someone said in chat, UCLA fired their coach and their OC until now all of a sudden they're winning. They beat Penn State last week, and I forget who did they beat today.
Yep. Uyemaliava looks like the all-world guy that he was as a recruit. Dylan, it's almost like coaching matters. It's almost like a coach that knows how to call some damn plays and put their quarterback in a position to succeed. It's almost like that helps the guy succeed.
Dude,
crazy thought.
I don't know too much about basketball and baseball. I know it's more individual sports, but dude, football coaching means so much more than any other sport, man. Football coaches, you scheme plays up throughout the week that make a difference in the game. Like baseball coaches, like managers in baseball, like how many lineup changes can you do or pitching rotations can you do that determine a factor if you win or lose a game? Basketball coaches, the other team can have a 5-star and you're not going to defend that guy no matter what you draw. Football's not like that.
Dylan's not cute at all. Dylan's ugly.
Mad cute. I hate my fans. All right.
Got any fans? You only got haters.
Yeah. You got haters unless you're popping issue.
Dylan, you know what the good news is though?
Tony Livingston will be back next week.
Yes, that's the main good news. But
That's what I told you, dude. I tweeted out. I said, "What is Florida going to do on offense without if Tony Livingston can't go?" And
hang on, we got to address something. Lance Sawyer just came in the comments thinking he's something and said, "Remember when you thought they could win 9 in a row last week? Which one of us said they were going to? Like, were you halfway through a bottle of Tito's when you watched our show? Because I said they were going to win 9 in a row.
Oh, shit.
I promise you, we did not think that, man.
Anywho,
all right, that is one hell of a comment to end the show. But here's the actual good news, Dylan. Look, I wore the shirt again. Basketball season's coming.
What about 3 weeks out?
Boogie Flan, Thomas Houck, and the boys are about to take the court, and these boys are something serious. So college basketball is almost here. Don't worry, guys.
And Cornelius Ingram's son. What's his first name? His last name's Ingram.
CJ.
Yes, CJ Ingram. Dude, I might watch some college basketball before January this year.
Can CJ can he put some cleats on and run a few routes too?
Yes, he can. He was a 3-star athlete.
A two thing I could maybe get behind with him.
I think he played quarterback at Hawthorne.
What's up?
I think he played quarterback at Hawthorne for him. I think he played quarterback. I know he played football.
Yeah, I think Walter Clayton could have played a little ball last year for us, just stay healthy on the basketball court. But yeah, we got college basketball. Gator fans get to feel good about something soon because it sure as hell ain't gonna be football as long as William Napier is on the sideline. But
before the half they get the ball to 40. Yeah, I went on a whole rant about that. If you want to go back and listen. Yeah, Graham. People popping in. I know there's gonna be a lot of people because everybody's gonna be pissed off. It's funny, Graham. We lose, we get like 3,000 views on YouTube. We win, it's like no one cares. Whatever. Here's 1,000 views. Shut up. We do appreciate it. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Denmark and Marsh. I don't know if y'all are watching on Twitter or Facebook or Pinterest, whatever the sites are. Try to go to YouTube, subscribe on Denmark and Marsh. That way we can start making millions of dollars and we can get in bed with the Saudis and get some deals going. Okay. That is my main goal.
Start making money. We'll put it all back into Gator NIL, and we'll get us a left tackle to start.
Well, man, don't be doing that to my dog, man. Hometown kid.
I know he's a Duval kid. At much respect to him, but that brother got cooked all night. We got to call it.
So real quick, so my alma mater, we played Trinity in the playoffs first round 2020. We were undefeated. They were like 7-1. It was the COVID year, and we lead 3-0 at the half, and we're feeling good. We got a shot. Trinity had like Marcus Berg and Austin Barber. They had a couple other guys on the team, and Austin Barber was playing D-line, and he broke our quarterback's collarbone. And there went our season. We scored 3 points, and that was it. We had a backup, and backup didn't play at all that whole year. But anywho, Graham, this was fun. We appreciate everybody. And War Eagle.